Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today we have Stats versus Dark. This was their game 3 that was played in the GSL, where we see Dark hiding 4 links at the very start. Trying his best to go for the run-by. He's gonna get it in, with the perfect timing as well. It's gonna be a frustrating little start here for Stats. It's always really annoying when a big amount of links makes it into your main base. Now, this Oracle is gonna finish up and should be capable of dealing with it, but that's a lot of mining time lost. At the same time though, are these adepts going to be capable of doing anything here? The answer seems to be no. Needs to be so careful with keeping these adepts aggressive on dark side of the map, because if they get spotted, they get surrounded, they could just end up dying. There's still 1 link remaining at home as well, but this Oracle is now empty. No more energy available. Stats is going to keep his units here. This feels like a serious risk, but I could be wrong. I don't think I am. Okay, I was going to lose 1 more link. No finish on that. With 7 links or 8 links, can you go for it? I don't think you can. I think you're probably gonna need 10 at least. These adepts are not gonna finish up, obviously. These oracles are making their way across the map. It's gonna be 3 oracle versus well, whatever it is that Dark is doing. It's gonna go first around here. Takes out one of these adepts. Second adept will finish up its shade, and as a result, it's going to start hitting these drones. We'll take out 1. It's a good start. We'll take out a second one, so also this is actually a very good start. Double oracles at the same time, also continuing flying in. We'll take out a bunch of workers here as well. So just a really powerful opener here for Stats. 9 worker kills. Losing 2 adepts total, I think. And 10 links as well going down. So probably the best possible start you can hope for. And the earlier this happens into the game, the better it is as well. Let's not forget about that. The earlier you kill workers, the more important it tends to be. Gateway 3 and 4 now on the way, as well as Forge and the Twilight. Double gas is being taken here fairly late. All of that, the follow-up. I think Stats really was a bit shook from the early game that that Dark went for, but I don't know. I feel pretty good about this. As a Protoss enjoyer, I feel good about this early game. I really do. Melee on the way here. Not the fastest melee, but it's, you know, it's going down at some point at least. Two more gateways coming in. Templar Archives. So I'm expecting charge. I said I'm expecting charge. We're expecting charge here. This is a very confusing blink. There's 3 reasons for why this is a very confusing blink. 1, it starts extremely late. 2, I'm pretty sure that the Evo chamber, the fast Evo chamber, has been scouted. Yeah, so you know it's going to be +1 melee. Against that, charge is quite good. You don't want to get charge against roaches, but you do want to get it against +1 melee. And then finally, there's also 0 stalkers out, which usually is very useful if you're planning on playing Blink, if you want to do some type of move out with these Blink stalkers. But in order to do a move out with Blink stalkers, you need stalkers, which currently there are 0, 6 minutes and 33 seconds in. We also aren't seeing any zealots being warped in, so I don't think this is a misclick. No, okay, it is a misclick. Oh, he thinks he started charge. That's what he's thinking, 100%. Because this makes this entire build already was making no sense with the blink, but now that I'm seeing warping in zealots, this is just he just this is a mistake. He doesn't think this is some Muta play, and he really needs blink at this point. That is not what this is. I can guarantee you that. This is just a little error here on the side of Stats, who is playing double Forge, by the way, which is a really cute play style. I love that. It allows your gateway units just to be much better, just way better than they usually are. It's going to be Spire though. This is an insanely late Spire. I think this is for a Broodlord rush, if anything. We have an Infestation Pit already. So I'm feeling Hive here more so than anything else. Bad start, by the way, for Dark. Just looking at the worker count here once again, I just want to say this is not the start that Dark was hoping for. He's going to go for double Evos. In the past, whenever Dark played double Evo, he often went into Ultralisk. We're going to have to wait and see if that's going to be the case here once more. Or if he actually wants to rush out these brutes, because that Spire timing is a little bit suspicious. Charge starts right now. We still don't have a single Stalker out on the map, really confirming the fact that the blink was either a mistake or No, it was just a mistake. I'm not even gonna go for anything else. It was just a blunder there, a little error. It means his push out that could have been quite strong right now. It's not gonna commence. Dark does survive with a relatively low unit count, 38 links, 13 roaches, gets to go to 86 workers right now. As the Protoss player is playing insanely passive. Insanely passive, way more passive than we ever really see. Because usually we see, well, blink push outs or a charge push out. But he had the zealots with nothing and no stalkers with blink. Here you can see it's 7 Muras. Okay. I mean, it's a free country, but I wouldn't want to be caught with 7 Muras on me at this point. That is a little bit embarrassing, huh? Like, 2-1 is going to be done in the upgrades. These 7 Muras are going to have 0-0. There's 77 workers. So that means if you kill 10 workers, it's really not that worth it. You're going to need to kill 15, 16 workers. And I don't really see how you can kill 15, 16 workers with 7 Muras. Like, blink actually might be useful now as well. A single Warpin is going to stop these Muras. So unless he completely misses the Warpin, has no energy available, these Muras should be incapable of doing anything. Let's take a look. Here comes a Warpin. 2 workers going down, as I said. You need about 15. And even then, I'm not sure if it's worth it. Honestly, it's... Ooh, that was a bad blink. Going into the main base, but Stalkers are there, and we'll take out a bunch of these Muras. Oh yeah, this was absolutely not worth it here for Dark. Just absolutely not worth it. That was so much gas that just got invested there. Like, that is 700 gas that just got invested in Muras that did very, very little. It could have been a lot of Banelings. It could have been much quicker tech or much quicker, just better units. That now were these Muras, which were practically useless, giving Stats even more time. And Stats over here is playing quite greedy. Quickly into 3-2 upgrades. Pumping out Immortals from 2 Robos right now, as well as getting a Mothership. Zealots here, just hanging out. Just hanging around. As this Baneling run by without centrifugal hooks is going to be incapable of doing anything. There's 2 Templars with full energy as well. So Stats is actually just playing some of the most campy StarCraft that I've seen in a very long time. And Dark, look at this. Hardly spread any creep here in this game. Just hardly spreading any creep. Which is wild, because we haven't seen a move out in so long. A creep should be all over the map right now. It should be touching this area. It should be all in Stats' nose, but it ain't. We're gonna get a second Spire as well here for Dark. As Stats moves towards the left side, taking a 5th base. He's playing this slow, patient, proper. This is exactly how you want to be playing if you don't want to do anything, and if you're playing against someone that doesn't spread creep. Which seems to be the case right now. Look at this. No new tumors at all. No new tumors. There's one over here. It's just not being activated. I have no clue why that's the case. Makes no sense to me. Either way, here comes the Mothership. It's going to be running away from the links. And would love to see the invisibility here over on the 3rd base. At the same time, Yura's coming in into this bad boy. We'll take out the assimilator, and with the splash might take out a couple of workers as well. Still have a roach attack heading in towards the 5th. Not the greatest defense out of Stats. Doesn't look entirely smooth, and he might actually have to cancel that 5th as well. But overall, still a good position. We have the 2-2 upgrades. We have the +3 on the way. Over here we have the chitinous plating coming in for Dark as well. Just setting up for a kind of large late game here. With our first serious move out at this moment. Even Nidus Network coming in as well. Now, I could be crazy, but I don't think I am. If Stats were to just push across the map, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot that can deal with his army. I guess a Ling run by is gonna, gonna throw a wrench into those plans. Roach is coming in for the run by as well. Corruptors are being constructed, and that means most likely we have that Broodlord transition coming in already. Feels fairly early. Stats still only on 4 bases, 12 minutes into the game. That means his main has practically run out. His natural's busy running out as well. Stalker's looking to deal some damage. That's an interesting burrow. It's in range of this cannon. Except for these three. These three can't be spotted. But Revelation is going to take care of that. Ultra's now trying to hit the fort base. Are going to get spotted by Stasis as well as cannons. And Stats is just pretty much in position there. Stalker's moving towards the bottom side as well. This is just a Stalker army. Not great at dealing with links usually. But if you have enough Stalkers, well then you can probably do it. As this Nidus network finishes up to Ultras pop out in the main base. Now it's going to try and hit over here. Ultra's just straight up walking through these stasis wards. Are going to start right-clicking some cannons, but at the same time, these Ultras are not really being microed at all. Just going to straight up fall 5 Ultras for 2 cannons. And even if one escapes, this was not a good trade at all over here, like whatsoever. We don't have the anabolic synthesis yet either, which made these Ultras a little bit slower than they usually are. At the same time, though, the main base is being blasted by these 2 Ultras plus the 2 Mutas. I feel like just sending the Oracle on this would already be a big help, but a bit of the infrastructure here actually is being taken out. More cannons going down at the 5th base. I wouldn't mind seeing some rebuild cannons over here at the 4th as well. Dark is still outmining his opponent, but Dark also realizes that he can't sit on a work account that is too high, because that could be dangerous. That's really not with the swiftest movement here when it comes to dealing with this. Loses the Templar Archives, loses the Fleet Beacon as well. That Ultra that was buried is gonna get taken out. Or, well, it was burrowed, not buried. Links on the left, links on the right. Gotta make my mind up, which links will I take? It's Friday. Nidus, I saw another Nidus room, yeah. Once again in the main base. Oracle's gonna try to take care of that. I don't think it should be too much in here. I think it's more of a fake, if anything, yeah. So that's just gonna move out on the map. This is a good army. And the best way to deal with these, like, semi-splits is to have infestors in multiple locations. Burrowed. Either for neural parasite. Oh my god. This is way too many brutes for stats to attack into this. Hello? There we go. Throws on a time warp. Stalker's just gonna try and defend this. Loses 15 workers. And at the same time, oh my god, it's losing this base as well. Stats moves out once. And this is why we don't move out anymore. This is why we can't have nice things. 30 workers going down at an instant. And now the Brute Lord's there defensively as well, basically saying, hey, you can't do this. You can't attack into me. I have too many brutes. There's 12 out. What are the upgrades on these? Actually, no upgrades. Just plus 1. He has +1 on these brutes. These brutes are extremely weak right now. The weakest brutes I've ever seen. +2 is about to finish up, but still, you're going to be fighting 3-3-1 versus 2-1. So we see Stats moving away for now. Is holding the bottom side with just Stalkers. I wonder if just going for a different type of army split here would be better. Getting some Immortal Storm, some Immortal Storm Archon down there. As these Templars are taking the long way round, which is not usually quite what you want. If... hello. Oh, yeah, it's gonna at least get a couple of these feedbacks off. We'll throw some storms on this army as well. So actually quite a bit of damage, surprisingly so, but... obviously losing 4 Templars, not great. There's a lot of gas in the bank here for Stats, because he's had a lot of gas mining, and he currently doesn't have a whole lot of mining that isn't gas. This is real scary, by the way, if you're Dark. Because if your opponent actually blinks under here, and you don't have fungals nearby, you're just gonna lose 3-4 brutes, really, almost instantly. And I love this split that he's going for, with just a lot of Infestor Brute on one side, and then, I guess, kind of the rest of the army on the other side. And I think important there is going to be to, well, to be honest, to have some Ultras on the other side, as well as some Infestors. Infestors are so useful in run-by armies due to the burrowed neural. It makes it really difficult for TOS to deal with it. You can take over Archons. Archons are insane against Protoss armies. There's just one counter to the Archon in the Protoss army, and that's the Disruptor. But usually, Protoss players against Zerg don't build Disruptor. So if you lose your Archons to the Zerg, you're in a world of trouble, because all of a sudden they have a unit that basically kills everything you have. The Archon is such a powerful tool. It's like a specialist unit that you need to deal with it. That's the disruptor. Links coming in are gonna get quite a bit of damage once more. Nidus Network now going up here in this base. It feels like Dark is kind of styling here on stats, but I'm not sure how correct that is at the moment. As this army is gonna get caught by the brutes. Stalkers taking a lot of damage, as well as these Immortals taking quite a bit of damage. Ultras being morphed in once more. You have some links still burrowed in the main base as well. We're gonna get an aggressive recall perhaps. Or a defensive recall. There we go. Good moves. With the Mothership. This is of course the main use of the Mothership. Because right now, it's basically a flying recall and time warp tool. You can make units invisible for a little bit, but not forever. As the links are gonna hit the Zealots. The big Fungal's gonna hit. Can we get another one? Yes, we can get another one. Can we get another one? Yes, we can get another one. Can we get another one? Yes, we can get another one. And we can get a couple more. There's no units here, though, to finish this off. And Stats is looking at us like, well, that's fun and all that you're throwing these green balls at me. But what actually happens when I blink forward? And apparently the answer is you get 5-6 Infestor kills. There's just no ground army here, really. As Stalker Immortal on the left side is going to take care of these Ultras. Ultra count is at 2. The Immortal count here is at 4. I think having 1 or 2 Archons here to deal with potential high link counts might be good, though. Recall is almost available again on this Mothership. The cooldown on this is not that long. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to some more of these plays. This was a very good move out of Stats. Stats has a huge army. Army value almost 8k in minerals and 5k in gas to 6k and 4.3k in gas. So definitely a larger army. On top of that, also a more mobile army. So although Dark had more bases earlier, he hadn't really been mining from the outside on. So look at this. This base still has full gas. This base still has full gas as well. So these are 2 bases that are potentially going to be very hard to hold that haven't mined any gas. And gas is an important resource in this matchup. Stats, at the same time, hasn't mined that many minerals yet from these bases. Has mainly been focusing on gas. As a result, has a huge gas bank and somehow, some way still has mineral patches remaining in 2.5 base. No Templar here in this army means that these links are going to be much stronger than I think they ever should be. We still have an AFK army over here as well that Stats could have used to probably just straight up win the fight. I mean, now it's going to be less powerful, but still taking out these Immortals, fighting against these Stalkers. Like, this is still going to be a somewhat close fight. Had these units been there just a little bit quicker, I think they would have been a huge help. We're going to get the +3 air armor in as well right now. Stats continuing to moving forward with the Observer here. Clears creep, and I think that's one of the things that Dark has really been lacking so far in this game. Can we get a blink up? Up. Up. No, she's going to blink back. Like a blink up there would have been really cool. Boop, little blink up, then a little blink. I guess if more links pop right at that moment, you lose all your Stalkers. So this was the safer play, but my play was the cooler play. Would you rather be known as a winner or someone that's cool? Exactly, a winner. So Stats went for the safe play. As he's going to move towards the bottom side as well. That's where these Brute Lords are. And against Brute Lords, you probably can't hold this base. I don't think you can, at least. I know for a fact that you can't. So what I would suggest here for Stats is to give up this base. At the same time, there's a lot of freaking Banelings running in towards this bad boy. You have a recall going down there. Bane's trying to connect with something. At the same time, Ultras are going to connect with these Immortals as well. Stats in well, a little bit of trouble at least. Banelings trying to connect as well. That was kind of expensive though for Dark. Losing that many Banelings. Overall down in resources lost. Usually this matchup comes down to mining though. As long as you're mining, you're usually fine. And right now Dark, well, he is at least mining something. 1700 minerals a minute here for Stats against the 2300 for Dark. Archons are going to help out. That was good timing on those Archons on the top side. Because otherwise you lose this top side base against the Ling Ultra. Even now, like, without any Immortals there, it feels like with this Ultra count you could almost hold it. Maybe you can't, but it's pretty freaking close. Funnily enough, I love the way that Stats is moving his army, but I'm not a huge fan of the army compositions. I feel like this army would have been made much, much stronger by having even just 1 or 2 Templar in there. And honestly, also just an Immortal, I think would be great against. Like, I think splitting the Immortals up a little bit is quite useful. As these Archons here are almost going to get caught by the Broodlings. Not quite, though. Not quite. Third base goes down. Ultras manage to burst in. and say hello. Don't kill that much except the base that was hardly mining anymore. At the same time, Stats is on a warpath. Gonna cancel this base. I need to be careful though, just now getting his 6. Like the pace of expanding for Stats has been extremely slow. We have double Lurker then coming in. We have 2nd and 3rd Stargate as well as a Fleet Beacon. I feel like we had a Fleet Beacon before, but it got killed in a run-by of sorts. New Nidus Network coming up as well. These two links have been here for a long time. Now going to use their vision to provide a spot for the Nidus Network. Or the Nidus Worm, I guess it is. Not gonna pop anything out, is it? Oh, it is. It might. It won't. It could, but it won't. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. At the same time, we have a move here towards the middle. Broodlord's not in position at all to deal with this. That means that Dark is potentially in quite a bit of trouble. Where are the infestors? 5 infestors total on the map. I see a bunch of them on my screen. 2 more running downstairs. This is not a fight that Dark can take. Absolutely not. That's a ridiculous proposition, that fight. There is no way in hell that Dark can take this fight. Yet. Without Bruce in general, he can't take it. I just don't think it's possible. It is 6 Ultras though, isn't it? 6 Ultras. It's only 4 Immortals. The rest of the Immortals are up top, which is a move I of course appreciate, but honestly, this is looking quite okay here for Stats. Stats is looking solid. Stats is looking good. Stats is looking just as he should with this Oracle going for a Revelation. Broodlord's now coming in clutch. We're going to get a recall of some sorts. Oh, we recalled ourselves downstairs. This army gets semi-caught. At the same time, this army moving forward. No Templar here. That means that links could have been great, but there are no links available. And that means that links aren't great. Infestors need to come in and try and neural some of this army. But there's just no energy. I really feel like one of the issues here is the fact that the Infestor energy has just been low. And perhaps too little Infestors all around. Both players, I don't think, have been splitting their main casters well enough. For Stats, that being the Templar. Well, now there is a Templar in this army, so that's nice. And for Dark, being the Infestors. Triple Simulators coming up as well. Bottom side base. There's a bunch of drones borrowed here. I didn't even see that. Here we go. Broodlord's moving in forward. Lurkers joining in as well. That makes it much, much harder for Stalkers to blink in. This is something people underestimate. But once there's Lurker Broodlord, Tempest is the solution. It is the only solution as well that there is. Because you just can't blink in anymore. However, Lurkers, they cost a bit of supply. And the moment people have a bunch of supply in Lurkers, it becomes a lot harder for the Zerg player to get a lot of Corruptors out as well. Lurker, Broodlord, Corruptor. I guess is the kind of the ultimate late game army, but that's not the army that Dark has right now. Because it doesn't have any Corruptors, which could actually be a serious issue here. Invisibility definitely helping out. There's no Overseers, only Fungals to provide vision. These Lurkers are going to get blasted as well. No Archons with this arm. Oh, never mind. There was vision. There's the Spore over here that I missed. Link run by being sent out is not going to work. Topside bases are being blasted as these Tempests start taking out the Broods. Now, Broods have, well, increased their speed a little bit in the last patch, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Links going down at a very high pace. We have another Link run by coming in. These bases are most likely going to fall. This game is turning into a bit of a base trade. Good movement here out of Stats. He recalls. Okay, this goes to the Mothership, which I think is a good call. Has this base still alive? I think a Stasis Ward or two would be nice as well. Or just using the Oracle to kill the Ultra. It's also something that is practically pretty viable here right now. Income in favor of Dark, I think. But losing all of his production is gonna suck. And what is the actual Corruptor count? It's at 4. 2 more on the way. And there's so much money for Tempest still available. This final base is not gonna get taken out. This seems relatively secure-ish. Well, actually it doesn't. I guess you could just go in there. But we have some Tempest in the main as well. That's definitely gonna help out. It's gonna try and recall out or what? I think the best way to do this is to recall the Mothership home and then to recall with the Mothership. just recall the rest of the army to the mothership. I think that's what he's gonna do as well. Because I just hide this in the main, I guess. You could also do that. You have an army split already in that case. It's kind of a cute move. And who's gonna believe that there's still an army in there? I still think you should recall it, but oh well. It is what it is. Pool's being rebuilt. There's no lair, there's no spire here. And that is potentially quite a big issue for Dark. Dark does not have the ability to build any extra units. Dark does not have the ability to deal properly with these Tempest. Tempest by themselves, with one Revelation here, could potentially just straight up win the game. And that would not be great in my mind. But we're gonna have to wait to see. Where is this Oracle actually? Okay, though, Oracle is actually here. Revelation is going to be massively useful. A couple of shots of these Tempest, as one will end up falling. More are being produced, though, as Queen's now on the way. There was some fight down here, which I completely missed, and I apologize for that. But it looks to me like Stats did not win that fight, as Hydras are now shooting. I believe that Hydras are actually being built. I think Hydras here are actually being built as the anti-air tool, which is kind of wild. Is there no observer here in this army? No, there is. Use the Revelation for that, though. Tempest count still growing, which is important. Because without Tempest, you're not gonna have any fun. Oh. Corruptors going down, and there's 4 Corruptors remaining. 7 Hydras versus 5 Tempest. That is probably not going to be good enough, as Dark is trying to desperately get some money back, but he's not even taking into lair yet. I think his plan here is actually to get a bunch of Hydras out and take it from there. His plan is to play Hydra, Bane, Broodlord, Infestor, Corruptor. This is not a plan that ever has worked in the history of StarCraft 2. You can't build Hydras against an army like this. I don't think that is... That is just not possible. And it's not just me who thinks that, by the way. As 5 Tempest will be capable, of course, of one-shooting these Broodlords. At the same time, a good run by here into the bottom side base. This is the last mining base for Stats. Kind of true. Almost entirely true. And he has a pretty big army as well. He could just max out. Oh, Tempest just flying through a cheeky little spore range. As one Tempest is going to end up falling, so will one Corruptor. Not a great trade, but in this particular game, not even the end of the world, because you have 6 Tempest against 3 Corruptors total. Here come the shots. It's gonna get fungled entirely on top. Holy crap. This is the worst start of a fight one can imagine. As Revelation will need to come in. Oracle creates vision here on these brutes. Stats pretty much sees everything here. Now he needs to decide whether he's gonna give this part up, or if he's gonna... If he's not gonna give it up, he's gonna give it up and just goes for the base trade, the full-on base trade. I wonder if this is the correct call. I think it might just be. On the other hand, he still has a pretty decent bank. So you don't want to lose all of your production, because the one advantage you really do have is the fact that you have a bank here, just whatsoever. Dark at 110 supply though. Tempest being sent home. And is there even enough anti-air to deal with those? I'm not sure if the answer to that is yes. There's 4 observers just idling here. Gonna get a massive recall. It's just gonna call it recall right on top of it. Yep, there we go. Storm's hitting this army as well. GG gets called. Stats wins a pretty sick late game. Some nice movement with the Mothership. Good 2-army play majority of the time. Felt a little bit sloppy at times from both players, honestly. But, you know, that's what's gonna happen in these types of games. When there's a lot on the line, mistakes will happen. And Stats was the one that capitalized the most. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks, and bye-bye.